Jim, I want to talk about that process again, about finding out more about these kids. All right, so you go to the college games and you scout. You go to Europe and you scout those kids. You talk to coaches. You talk to, I'm guessing, family members. You check out their background. You go to draft camps in Chicago and everywhere else. You see these kids over and over and over and over. And then you bring them in. And you've had Winslow in, and you've had Willie Cauley-Stein in. You've had Booker and Grant and a few others in that are first-round draft picks. What more can you learn from having them on the floor right in front of you, captive audience, for a couple of hours?
I liken this to an artist creating a canvas with brush strokes. You start out when the kid's in high school and you have a feel for him. Even some of these international guys at U15 and U16 are international scout Rafal, which is great. He goes to these events and gets these guys on our radar, so to speak, at the age of 15. So if they're dominating at that young age or they're developmental prospects. So you look at this canvas and there's just a little bit of paint on there, and then as they get older, you put in more serious brush strokes. You go to watch the games. Your whole canvas is filling out. So the last few brush strokes are what you can see when they come in here. And some of that, again, is projecting what that canvas is going to look like down the road. You see some shooting touch in a player that you didn't see. A guy didn't...
Well, like Willie Cauley-Stein
Willie Cauley-Stein didn't attempt...
he
didn't attempt a three-pointer in college, and then you watch him in this workout, at the end of the workout when you're supposed to be physically spent, and he's actually making threes.
Nice touch.
So that was clearly insightful. Could we have seen that? Did we see shreds of that, perhaps, when we went to Pro Day at Kentucky, or when he's at the free throw line? Sure, but this makes a more prominent impression. But by no means do you want to be misled or put too much stock into what a guy does when he comes in your city.
Well, I know this isn't your bailiwick.
Hold on. My what?
Bailiwick.
I'm from Philly. I don't even know.
I'll
You tell me
explain
later.
later.
Wait, you're from the town where you go to the airport to cheer the Rocky Landings?
I didn't do that. Some people may have, but I don't know what a bailiwick is. But can you give me a synonym?
Yeah, sure. Your forte.
Okay.
Wheelhouse? This is not your responsibility.
Wheelhouse. That's
See, this guy did very well on the SATs. We clearly did not.
You carry around a thesaurus with you?
That's in my back pocket.
All right, so this is not your area of responsibility, naming a new head coach. But there are a lot of people who say, why haven't the Nuggets named a new head coach when they bring these players in so the coach can get a feel as well? Is that important that the head coach be at those workouts that you're at, that the general manager is at, that the owner is at, to see who these kids are and what they are?
Yeah, I have enough confidence in our group to get these guys up to speed, but I would almost conclude that any coaching candidate is going to have some good idea, the foundation, who these guys are. So again, if they don't see them in this workout, we have a full dossier. They'll download it, and mentally we'll have these discussions and stuff. I don't think it's critical. Could it be a little bit more helpful? Sure, but you give and you take.
Okay. You're going to love the way I'm going to set this up, because it's completely an unfair question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. And guys like you hate answering these questions, but this is for the fans.
This is a really long setup.
This is for the fans. This isn't for me, and this isn't for Les. Fans want to know, when they hear about a player, who can you compare him to? When I look at a guy like Hezonja, I think Tony Kukoc. When I look at the kid from Duke, I think a little Shane Battier. Give us the upside for those two guys.
Hezonja is probably more a shooter than a scorer. Tony Kukoc was an incredibly versatile combination forward that could play point guard if you needed him to.
Sure.
In emergency. So I don't see that.
Who do you see him like?
Hezonja?
Yeah. And then Winslow.
Danilo Gallinari.
No.
Don't say Skeetishvili.
No. Again, this motivation and this intensity and the fact that at a junior level he was very productive. I'm not going to say a Petrovic type of a player, but a guy who immediately he's going to be NBA ready, and he will be a contributing member and a rotation player from the minute he gets in.
Well, Petrovic is a pretty good compliment.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be that good. Again, so youthful. You got to be in the right situation. You have to have the guy expand his game as it goes on.
I like this. You told him you're not going to ask him who they're taking at number 7, but you keep saying Hezonja and Winslow. Hezonja and Winslow.
Okay, fine. How about
I'm trying to protect you here.
How about Moutier in case he slips?
Oh, if Moutier slips and you don't take him, I'm never inviting you back on this show.
No comment. No comment, right?
What about Winslow?
the Battier, I mean, Justise is the kind of kid who's going to expand his game once he gets into the league. He has a great foundation, and he plays great defense. I mean, some people have said Kawhi Leonard. I think you're protecting me now. Now you're just trying to subtle digs.
Well, Winslow just
no. That's what I saw.
Winslow, actually, I just read a quote said, "I'm a little bit like James Harden, and I'm a little bit like Kawhi Leonard."
I think one of the problems in comparisons, and I'm a huge comparison guy.
You are, so then I don't feel bad asking the question now.
Well, I'm trying to make you feel a little bad. The comparisons we often engage in are to how the players are now.
Right.
And I myself need to be focused by my staff sometimes about that. Try to compare him to another guy when he was 19. So Harden when he was a freshman, and Harden went to his sophomore season and really exploded. A guy like Klay Thompson his freshman year at Washington State hardly went to the free throw line. Made a huge jump his second year. So how can a guy develop in an NBA setting versus if they go back to college? I mean, I would want them all to go back for at least 2 years, a total of 2 years. So there's so much speculation when you do take that 19-year-old kid. He may be something, that's why I often like a continuum. He could be anywhere from this player to that player.
Jim Clibanoff, the Nuggets Director of Scouting. That segment brought to you by Shanahan's Steakhouse, my favorite restaurant in town, the best food in town, no doubt about it. Shanahan's has been selected by the public, not just me, but by the public, as one of the best restaurants in Denver, and it is Open Table's 2015 Diner's Choice winner. So book a reservation today. Experience what I'm telling you about. ShanahanSteakhouse.com. Check them out.